It doesn't cost $1 to dream, and in my dream, everything's perfect. So I don't think about the reasons why or how tired I'm gonna be. I'm inspired by what I do, so I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm gonna make sure I do everything and be a parent every day, all day. I've been able to do it. So if I were to tell you when I'm 18, yo, I'm gonna be the biggest in music independently.
Right.
I'm gonna make the biggest movies, or at least the best ones. I'm gonna have the biggest clothing lines. I'm gonna do it all on my own. I got my GED. People traditionally would say I was crazy.
Right.
They all did. And unless you have a dream that people think are crazy, then your dream is whack.
Right.
I dream big, bro. And everyone around me that dreams big, that I've taught to dream big, you're reading about them in Forbes.
Are you a superhero to your kid?
Absolutely.
Not when your boss is in the room. What's best for your kids is to put your money into something, the stress, go through all of it, so when your child becomes a man, he doesn't have to work for nobody.
Right, well, that's the
you
whole
can
thing.
just pass it to him. Can another man say you're fired?
Absolutely.
No one can tell me that. That's priceless.
But I'm not
Do you
gonna
think
say-
your son enjoys you calling somebody else a boss? Don't you think your son would rather wake up with you and you could pick him up from school instead of having to do a 9 to 5? Don't you think your son would love if his name was up there? I taught my son never to have a boss. He's 23. He owns a restaurant. He has cookies. He has equity. He busts his ass so he can pass it on to his son. If that's not what you're hustling for, you're selfish. You keep saying I'm worried about my kids. You worried about you. My kids, you enjoy the safety and the security of a job every day. But there's no pride in that to me. But when you do something that's for yourself and your family, it never feels like work. I hustle for my last name. I don't hustle for my first.
The more you care, the more you prepare. Period. And thinking is a part of that. You'd be surprised how many people are scared to think. Most of my arguments don't come from me pushing somebody physically. It's from me pushing them to think. I'm like, God damn, you don't want to think? Like, that doesn't eat, like, it's harder to run a fucking mile than to think. So why is it less scarier to work out than to just think? And it doesn't take any physical effort. It's about a perspective. Why are people so scared of the unknown? Just because you don't know an answer. Like, Google was so foreign to me up to a couple years ago, as surprising as that may seem. But Raquel, who's wifey for life, he remembers the moment that I was like, holy shit, I could find out everything all this time. You know, all I would have had to do was look, and I would have seen how easy it was. But because it was unknown in the moment, I thought it was complicated. How many times do you get a remote control, it does 3 million things, but just because you don't know how, you can't figure it out, you're like, fuck all those other things. As a boss, you have to work the hardest because you have to lead by example. No one can work harder than the boss. Being a boss doesn't mean relax. Being a boss means work harder.
So that's also the manager thing you said is up under that same title, basically. It's like before you become a CEO, you have to learn.
You gotta know what I mean.
Yeah.
You gotta know what I mean. Yeah. You gotta really look at yourself and say, do I want to be a boss?
Yeah.
Do I want that much responsibility? Do I want people's livelihood to depend on me? Do I want to stay calm when everyone else is panicking? Do I want to put up my own money? Do I want to take the pain for everybody else before everybody else? Do I want to pay my crew before I pay myself? Because that's what a boss does.
You gotta ask questions. You gotta ask those type of
You got to ask yourself those kind of questions.
Ever watch a James Bond movie where it doesn't look like he's losing at some point and then he wins? Or Batman or Iron Man or any superhero? There has to be some diversity for you to, overcome to win. You can't be a champ unless you, are in a place where you look like you're going to lose and then you win. The pain that's going to come with being independent, you have to embrace it because it's going to happen. And also know that the more successful you get, the more problems you're going to have, the more knots you're going to have to untie. Being a boss does not mean smooth sailing. It means having the ability to care about other people before yourself and to untie problems, untie knots. That's all it is. It's not business if there's not problems. There's nothing good without struggle. It just doesn't happen. In all my experiences, there hasn't been one thing that's been successful without me feeling some pain before it was successful. So now when there is pain, I embrace it.
It takes fearlessness to be first, to not move with a crowd, to move alone, and you get scrutinized by people that do move with a crowd because they got to make you look bad to make themselves look good. It's all part of the game.
Win should be when you have won by your standard, by not someone else's. Because people are generally insecure, and people generally look the other way. They do things that are illogical, and they all have their own set of problems. So everyone considers a win different. So why would I consider my win something that makes you happy? I'm gonna consider my win something that makes me and my family and my kids and my girl happy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look like I'm rich to make you happy. I need to be rich.
Right.
So guys think they're rich because they might have monetary very like temporary money that they could take care of themselves.
Right.
But that's not rich. Rich is being able to take care of your kids.
Right.
Being able to make it where your generation or the generation before after you doesn't have to go through the same problems as you did.
Over the years, that with anything, you have to be patient. Not 5 years patient or 5 months patient. You could be 10 years patient if you want to. Empires aren't built overnight. You know what I mean? Like I always tell everybody, the Great Wall was a 2,000-year-old plan. 2,000. You know how many lifetimes that is of one plan? And getting people to kind of do the same, have the same exact agenda for lifetimes, for generations. That's crazy. So you have to be patient when you want to do something significant, no matter what. And a lot of time that means not reaping the benefits of something immediately.
Everybody's depressed because they're trying to fit into a puzzle. They're trying to be a fucking circle in a square. And you're told what to do, and you're told what to eat, and you're told what's good and bad, and what the perspective of success is. Success is love. Success is your family. Success is how much you laugh. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. If you got a crooked smile, if your people around you don't want to be around, your breath stinks and all that other shit, you're broke. Period.
Right.
You're broke. If you have nothing to fight for, you're broke. You have nothing to love, you broke.
And I want us to be tasteful.
Right.
I want us to be evolved.
Right.
I want us to deal with things like men, not emotion.
Right.
I want us to really be rich, not look rich. I want us to be friends. I want us to stick together. I want us to take care of our kids. I want us to take care of our women. I want that to be.
You give me all these pros. What are some of the cons?
There's no
They got to be. Yeah, they got to be. No.
The cons is you don't try, and you wonder what would have happened if you did your whole life, and nothing comes true.
It's a mentality. I have generations of this. What if your kids aren't as strong as you? What if your kids' kids aren't as strong as you? Then what?